Travis Head has hurt many teams with his aggressive batting display in the past, and in case of India, there are multiple instances. World Test Championship final, ODI World Cup final, came close to hurting them in the T20 World Cup in the USA and Caribbean too, and now in the pink ball test at the Adelaide Oval, which Australia won by 10 wickets. He scored a magnificent century in the first innings that made sure that Australia gathered a useful first innings lead. Now, if we talk about Travis Head, the test batter from 2018 until 2020, that time Justin Langer, the former Australia coach, didn't really rate him highly. And he wanted Travis Head to work on his defensive game so that he can have a long test career. There were a lot of different opinions, but then the two didn't really gel well. And that did impact Travis Head, the batter, as his performances weren't really up to the mark. And that's an incident wherein Tim Paine has now shed some light on. Well, Tim Paine, the former Australia skipper, he had his say on the Travis Head and Justin Langer partnership. He said that the two actually had a real difference of opinion. They were trying really hard for him to work on his defense with Justin Langer and company in his support staff. They were trying really hard to make sure that Travis Head works on his defense game, and it wasn't the way he wanted to go about it. And this probably reminds me of that incident of Virender Sehwag and Greg Chappell during the early 2000s. So when Greg Chappell was appointed as India's head coach after John Wright, there was a time when he had an interesting discussion with Virender Sehwag as to how Virender Sehwag should alter his game according to the conditions, why he should focus more on his defensive game. But at the very same time, Sehwag was never really comfortable about it, because aggression, when it comes to batting and when it comes to most batters, it comes very naturally, and it doesn't really happen with most of the batters. It happens with only a few, and that's where Travis Head, who is naturally an aggressive batter, wasn't really happy with the kind of preparation that the likes of Justin Langer and his support staff wanted to have with him. And this is where Tim Paine hasn't really shied away from saying that there was a real difference of opinion. Well, Tim Paine, he went on to say some more things about Travis Head. He said that he doesn't worry about what works for others. And I've played a little bit with him. He doesn't care what people think about his technique or how it looks. And maybe Tim Paine is right here, because ever since 2020, Travis Head has been a completely different player for Australia, not just in Australian conditions, but in the overseas conditions too. Even in the 2023 Border Gavaskar Trophy, there were a lot of question marks as to why Travis Head wasn't really preferred by Australia in the first couple of matches, because they expected, the fans and the experts expected, that he would really go on to have those aggressive shots on display, which would really hurt India. And it did hurt India in the third test in Indore, wherein he came back as an opener and did well for them. Although Australia lost the series, but then Head made those useful contributions while batting up the order, and that was another aggressive display by an Australian batter who made sure that Australia did manage to have a comeback in the series. Now let's just take a look at Travis Head's stats under head coach Justin Langer and now under head coach Andrew McDonald. From 2018 until 2020, he averaged 34, 49 and 18. Did have a good time in 2019 with those couple of hundreds against Sri Lanka and a couple of good performances against India too. But then post 2020, let's have a look at his averages: 62, 50, 42 and 40. Even in 2021, he scored a couple of magnificent centuries in the Ashes that Australia won 4-0, and that was also the first time that Pat Cummins led Australia in an Ashes as a full-time Australian leader in 2020. And another average of 50. 2023 has seen a slight dip with 42, and 2024 so far is still going well. There are a couple of test matches left, so if it gets going, the average is definitely going to rise above that. Now, Tim Paine's interesting comments obviously could spark a bit of controversy, but then Travis Head as an aggressive batter is proving to be more than useful for Australia. And if he continues to play in the similar manner, then it might continue to hurt India in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. And India, after that loss in Adelaide, they would really need an inspired performance and also a few plans to counter Travis Head. Now, what do you think about Travis Head as a batter in Test cricket? And do you really agree with Justin Langer's comments that he made on Travis Head in 2018? You can let us know your thoughts in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe to Sports Today for all the exciting updates and analysis from the sporting world. Until then, on behalf of my producer Shashwat, it's Siddharth Gulati saying goodbye.